Now yield 3 minutes to my friend and fellow Texan who's done a fantastic job, played a key role in fashioning the initial framework we call the budget resolution, and I want to thank him for his service and his friendship. Mr. Chip Roy, 3 minutes.
I appreciate my friend from Texas, the chairman, and there my Democratic colleagues go again, telling things that are not true. The vast majority of Americans will get tax benefits under this bill. It's just simply false to say that that's not true. Hardworking Americans who will benefit from the standard deduction increase. Hardworking Americans that will benefit from child tax credits and lower tax rates. Stop saying things that aren't true. Those things are true. The fact is we have money in here for border to undo the damage of Joe Biden. We have more money in here for the defense to undo the damage of Joe Biden. But we also address Medicaid, and Medicaid spending goes up. Stop lying. Medicaid spending goes up. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle are profoundly unserious when it comes to being real about what's happening with the numbers. I applaud Chairman Arrington. I applaud my colleagues on this side of the aisle for taking a step forward in dealing with the spending problem in this town. But I have to now admonish my colleagues on this side of the aisle. This bill falls profoundly short. It does not do what we say it does with respect to deficits. The fact of the matter is, on the spending, what we're dealing with here on tax cuts and spending, a massive front-loaded deficit increase. That's the truth. That's the truth. Deficits will go up in the first half of the 10-year budget window, and we all know it's true. And we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't say that we're doing something we're not doing. The fact of the matter is, this bill has backloaded savings and has front-loaded spending. Nowhere near the Senate budget top line, by the way. The Senate budget top line of $6.5 trillion, which, by the way, is what we were pre-COVID, inflation adjusted on interest, on Medicaid, on Medicare and Social Security. And if we would reform Medicaid, we could actually get to the core of the problem. But we refuse to do it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that everything is hunky-dory when this is the budget committee. This is the budget committee. We are supposed to do something to actually result in balanced budgets, but we're not doing it. Look at what happens under deficits. By the way, this chart includes growth. This chart demonstrates economic growth. And right here, what do you see? Baseline, and the orange columns are the deficits under the House budget, assuming growth. Only in Washington are we expected to bet on the come that in 5 years, then everything will work. Then we will solve the problem. We have got to change the direction of this town. And to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, yes, that means touching Medicaid. It went from $400 billion in 2019 to $600 billion this year. It'll be over $1 trillion in the 2030s. We are making promises that we cannot keep. We do need to reform it. We need to stop giving 7 times as much money to the able-bodied over the vulnerable. Why are we sticking it to the vulnerable population, the disabled and the sick, to give money to single able-bodied male adults? We shouldn't do that. We should reform it. But guess what? That message needs to be delivered to my colleagues on this side of the aisle too. We are writing checks we cannot cash, and our children are going to pay the price. So I am a no on this bill unless serious reforms are made today, tomorrow, Sunday. We're having conversations as we speak, but something needs to change, or you're not going to get my support. I yield back.
We've done a pretty good job of conducting ourselves professionally. So if you got sidebar comments, either side, use your 3 minutes to sound off, okay?
Mr. Chair, we're not allowed to use the word lying about one another either, so that decorum should go both ways.
Well, I'd encourage people not to say that. Everybody's got to be responsible for the things that they say in this committee. But I also associate myself with Mr. Chip Roy. A whole lot of work is still left undone, and I look forward to joining him and making sure that we strengthen many of these spending reform measures before the ink dries. But with that,